This episode of the DM Disruption is brought to you by Bookkeep. Bookkeep is truly a game changer when it comes to automating bookkeeping for your accounting practice. Just imagine being able to retroactively import your bookkeeping data straight into QuickBooks from e-commerce apps including Square, Shopify, Grubhub, Amazon Seller, Squarespace, Stripe, and many more. The best part is you can do this instantly, and you can implement Bookkeep for your firm and your clients in just a few minutes. We freaking love Bookkeep in my practice, so I highly recommend you consider using Bookkeep in your firm starting today.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the DM Disruption. Myself, Dawn Brolin, your designated motivator, is here to help you come up with solutions for your firm, but most importantly, for your clients, because they're here for you to be the trusted advisor, to guide them in the right direction. And we have one of my very favorite people I've known for a long time, Mike Milan, is here today from Truly Financial, an interestingly awesome product that we're going to kind of give you a little bit more detail about what Truly Financial can do for you and your firm, but also for your clients. So, Mike, thanks so much for coming. I love you. You're like one of my favorite people. It's like you're like a brother from another mother, right?
I'm gonna tell you, I'm motivated right now. I'm already motivated, right? So if your job is to motivate me, you did it even before we got on the call.
Bang! That's what we're here to do. Because really, at the end of the day, we just want to solve the problems of the world. And one of them is with regards to banking and being able to make payments and to be able to collect money and to have, your employees being able to have cards and, doing all these things so that we can run. We just want to make business work better, faster, and smoother. And so, Mike, tell us all about Truly Financial. Let's get this going.
Man, I've got to tell you what, I mean, when you look at it, and I've got 15 years of now banking experience, talking with banks, teaching bankers, talking with small business owners, and it kept coming back to the same thing of it's getting more and more difficult to do business globally. And I don't know about you, but when I went through the MBA program, I read a book called The World is Flat, and it predicted the globalization of the economy, which is saying, even the smallest business in Galesburg, Illinois, could do business in India or Pakistan or China or any of these other places. But it's so difficult to do that, right? It's so difficult to do that. And not only that, when we started talking about, especially after COVID, remote teams and working with other people and getting the best talent. Well, the best talent is no longer just contained in a geography, inside a border, right? It could be anywhere. Your best player could be in Toronto, right? Well, how do I work with that person when they're the best, key player? So what we've done is build products that help you not only be a hyper local small business, but have an international beef or international flair, if you'd like that, and expand your business globally.
Yeah, an international presence that somebody that is a smaller company, like you said, can't kind of compete with the costs to do business globally. And I think that that's one of the key pieces is that, well, how do I even open that door? How do I even, and most people would be like, well, now I got currency translation issues. I've got this, I've got banking fees, I've got that. And so Truly Financial is opening up that door to allow people to be able to maneuver in that space, right?
Yeah, what's funny about that is, I mean, it said that you lose up to 5% of an invoice just by doing business internationally. I mean, because you do have that. You do have maybe a currency exchange problem where you're forced to convert at the time of the transaction. Well, we've done away with that by being able to hold multiple currencies in one account. So I can exchange money when it's good for me, right? I don't have to do it exactly when the transaction takes place. The other thing is that a lot of like international wires sometimes go through multiple steps where, you can't go from, some of the African currencies like SETI into the Japanese yen. I know that's kind of a big problem here in Texas. We'd have a lot of that. But as an example, you have to convert it to US dollars first and then back into yen. So there's some of them that just don't have a direct exchange. You have to use an intermediary, and that costs money, right? Sometimes $40 to $60 per transaction. So we want to help you save money by making it just instant.
Okay, and so tell us some of like the so if you're a practitioner and you have clients that are maybe even already in that global world, they're already doing a lot of transactions and business in Canada, let's just say, right? Because I would think a lot of us have businesses that have activity in Canada. So walk through a simple scenario and how what does the truly product actually do to improve that process for the client? If you can come up with an example for me.
Yeah. So I mean, normally there would be a cross-border transaction, right? Which where the people in Canada, even though you want to send money in U.S. dollars, they have to either receive it in U.S. dollars and then make a conversion to Canadian dollars, which is again another pain in the butt for them. Uh, that's kind of a typical thing, right? Where you're paying them or you're receiving money from them the same way. There's this conversion charge. What we've done is we've created a way to conduct that transaction locally, and it's more like a Venmo transaction, and it happens instantly. So let's just say that I'm in Toronto, you're there in was it Connecticut?
Yeah,
Is that where
connect.
you're at? Okay, yeah, yeah. It's that one side of the world that I don't know very much about.
It
but
is mysterious out here.
That's right. That's right. So, but think about it like a Venmo transaction where you can just say, "Hey, I want to pay at Mike," and I send it into Toronto the same way that you would, me with a Venmo transaction now. So, what we're doing is on the back end is creating a transaction that happens locally rather than across the border.
Got it. Right. And that's perfect because that's really at the end of the day, what we want to do is we just want to either get paid or pay.
That's
And
right.
we don't want to have to go through, like you said, dealing with the exchange rates and having to make sure that that's all done correctly. Any accounting software tries to do that. It not always is successful, but just that facilitation is what you're solving for,
Yeah, we're,
right?
we're like a Sherpa, right? An international funds Sherpa, right? We're going to guide that transaction all the way through. And it's basically because I tell you, anybody that tries to do an international wire right now, there's no visibility. You don't know what happens. You don't know when it even changes hands to another person. Sometimes it takes up to 2 weeks, and that could delay your goods. Just because no one's going to send it until they receive the money. So what we're doing is we're walking that transaction all the way through for you at the speed of banking.
Right. So yeah, within a 24-hour period or whatever that may be, right? Because you've
Yeah.
got that.
Sometimes instantaneous, sometimes it takes a day or two. Yeah.
So a client comes to you, or a business owner comes to Mike and says, "Hey, I want in. What do I have to do? How does this all get set up?" Because that's what a lot of times people will say, "Well, how hard is it to get this implemented?" Right? That's typically a normal question. So tell me about that process.
Yeah. If you've ever opened a bank account, it's the same. But what we've tried to do is take away the requirement to walk into a bank, sit down with a bank loan officer, and go through every single process. And I forgot this paper, and then I got to go ping pong back and forth. We email and those type of things. We've built in automation on most all of the verification of a business, right? Because there's a couple of regulations we have to go by. As one is know your customer, the other is know your business, and that way we know kind of what's happening in the business. So we have to verify who you are, and we have to verify who your business is, and that's really done with your EIN. We'll say for a U.S. business, we can verify that you're a real business. We look at the website to make sure that if you have a website, try to determine what business you're in.
Yep.
There's certain businesses we can't do business with, right? So, and then of course, you're as a person, it's a copy of your ID, and then you scan your thing like I did with Alexa yesterday. So now Alexa even recognizes me. So it's really that easy. It does take a few minutes. It might take 5 or 10 minutes to go through the process, but it's really point click. Type in your EIN, and we go gather all the data for you.
Which is awesome because I had an experience I would say, I think it was like last maybe April or May. And I was going to set up a new bank account, right? And with Bank of America, you could set up a new account online. You know what? The process is awful. The
Yeah.
process is brutal. Any
Right.
of your banks, your what we'll call your historical native banks that we've had, at the corner of, Main Street for years, even they haven't solved for exactly what you've already solved for.
Mm-hmm.
You set up the account, and yeah, you give them some stuff, but then you got to wait for the signature paperwork to come so you can they're not even using e-signature at Bank of America for this process. You're just like, what?
Yeah.
So the bank account takes like 3 to 4 weeks to just set up because they're going to mail you the papers to sign, and then you mail them back. And I mean, it's just insanity. Like, it just
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. So that is a huge solution that Truly Financial is solving. When people want to set up a bank account, bang, just go on there, get it set up. And then let's talk about the cards. So we got businesses who have employees who, need to get paid and need to pay for things or whatever. Tell us about the card process.
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, it's one of those things that it's the new way of doing business, right? It's a way for you to not only give your team some authority, some responsibility, but also help them be accountable with spend management cards, right? So it's as easy as just typing in your name and sending you out a card. Then I set the transaction limits that you can spend per month, per category, per transaction. I can set all those limits for you, but I can also, have visibility and I can see what you're doing instantly. As soon as you make a transaction, I see it happening as it works. So you can do that across your team. And what's interesting is that we can also issue cards across the border. So if you find that perfect employee in Canada or in, Warsaw, Poland, or Singapore, you can actually bring them on your team and pay them much like you would in their local currency or in your own, right? So it's one of those things that we've really solved for that way. What I do like about it is that our corporate cards, right? That these Smart Link, we call them Smart Link, which is linking my employees to my account, right? So Smart Link is our spend management system. But our corporate cards are unlike any debit card. So think about the debit card where you just go use it for your everyday purchases. And that's kind of our tagline is, your everyday domestic and international purchases, right? That's kind of what we're working with. We're giving cash back up to 2.5% on everything. You can't get that with a debit card, right? That's one of the reasons why we give you a corporate card. And believe it or not, if you go try to apply for a corporate card, most banks have minimum requirements. They got minimum so much on daily deposit or so much on annual revenue. None of that, right? We're trying to bring the perks of the big bank down to everyone. Is really what we're trying to do.
That's huge.
It's like getting a discount on every single thing you buy, right? So
Absolutely. Listen, I'll fight you for the quarter in the parking lot, Mike. You and I, we'll be fist fighting for that quarter. If you save a quarter, I'm gonna save a quarter. That's the thing.
Yeah, here's the cool thing. Remember the Smart Link accounts?
Yep.
Everything your employees are purchasing rolls up to the main account. So they're not getting the reward, you are, right? Even when they're out there spending on your behalf.
And that is really powerful because if you think about it, having employees say, okay, we'll just reimburse you. So a lot of companies do that. So if you have clients out there, people who are listening, if you have clients out there that have employees using a personal credit card, and a lot of, like you said, a lot of the smaller businesses, and I'm saying smaller, $1 million and under, people who are $1 million and under who have employees and they use their own credit card, you reimburse them. They're getting that either cash back, depending on what kind of card they have, credit card. On a credit card, they're getting cash back and they're getting or points or something, right? So, and I think that's a really big deal. The business owner should be the one enjoying those perks and that cash back and how that all works, because really at the end of the day, that's their money, right? And they're paying for them to go and make the purchase. So they're getting paid to go make the purchase, and now they're getting cash back on their cards or points. Now we say, no, I'm paying you to go do this thing, but I'm going to enjoy the reward, which is the cash back.
Yeah, what's funny is that the company I'd worked for prior, they took all of the money and then put it towards the party at the end of the year.
Absolutely.
Right. So, I mean, the employees ended up getting it back in one way or the other. But I thought it was a great way to finance company perks with those type of purchases.
Absolutely. And I love also the fact that you don't have fees, because that is what I mean, statement fees, and just if you don't have you don't maintain your minimum balance, you're going to get a fee for that.
Yeah.
And then the payments. Okay, let's talk about the fees for when you pay somebody, right?
Okay.
You don't have fees when you pay somebody.
No.
And that's in globally, the wire transfer fees. If you're doing wire transfers or doing any of those kinds of things, you're paying $50, $75 sometimes for those transfers. So if you have clients that are doing that, what's beautiful about it, not only are we opening up the ability to do that global economy and global payments, but being able to take clients that now already do that. I'm thinking of one of my clients. He does a lot of work in Canada. And so he's selling like these huge structures and things like that. For him to be able to pay for the goods and things that he's doing, he's going to be the next phone call that I make, because he could really benefit from this product for sure. So I want people, as they're listening, think about the clients that are working globally and that are you're going to be doing tax returns soon. And those of you who are listening that are bookkeepers that are watching these fees come through, pay attention to the fees because they can get big. I mean, some people will say to me, well, I don't want to accept credit cards because I got to pay fees. Well, here's your solution. We got it solved already. Done.
Yeah, there you go. But it's funny. All of our prices are listed right on the website, at trulyfinancial.com. And mostly everything's free. Now we got some volume limitations, right? I mean, there's only so many, international wires that you can do in a month, but our limits, I think, are probably more than I would do anyway, between, and I could look it up to be exact, but we'll say you get 10 free, right? I mean, who's doing 10 of those a month? I mean, but we have two programs. One is a free program where the limits are a little bit smaller, right? You may be 3 transactions here or 10 transactions there. And then we have a $25 a month per or actual fee and a bank account. We charge you $25 a month, but you get a lot more of those free transactions, like 25 or so a month. So, I mean, more than most people do anyway. But $25 a month one time is a lot better than what you just said, $50 every time.
Exactly. And, Truly Financial is in business to make money too, people. It's, we all are. That's what business is about. But that cost, that reduction in fees can be substantial for some of your clients. And so you've got to, and I was on another podcast with Allison Ball with Licio. Mm-hmm. It's the client experience that we need to be more aware of. And I mean client experience in that, what can we bring to the table to them to say, hey, listen, I'm going through your taxes or I'm doing your books and I'm seeing all the wire transfer fees that you're paying. We got to do something different here. And so, that is where we become the hero to our clients. And here's a great example of where you can bring this product to your clients, say, hey, listen, we watched all your fees. We got to do something different here for 2020. And it's a great place to start with Truly Financial for sure.
Well, and I'll tell you, I mean, and I should be transparent. We're saying, okay, well, we're giving you all these fees, right? We get a lot of different free transactions. And you say, well, how do we make money? Mm-hmm. Well, if you look at our card, we're a Visa partner. So every time you use it, we're getting a piece of that transaction, which doesn't come out of your pocket. It comes out of your vendor's pocket, right? If you go to Walmart, if you go to ExxonMobil, I mean, we're getting a piece of that transaction, through Visa.
Yep. And, it's interesting too, because people don't think of that. Like the merchant fees, they think, Visa just gets my 3.2% or whatever the fee may be.
That's right.
But there's a lot of components built into that 3.2%. And Truly Financial happens to be one of them for the Visa. But again, it's not like your rates are going up. That's not the situation. So it's just the Visa has got this partnership. So I think it's an awesome solution. I think it's something that we should have this in the forefront of our mind as we go through tax season and as we go throughout the year. I mean, you can save your client $2,000. That's a lot of money. You can save your clients, in some cases, probably $5,000-$6,000 in fees that they're paying now. And so keep that in the forefront of your mind as you move forward through tax season, move forward through 2022. Keep it in the forefront. Mike, any last thoughts?
Hey, we want to be your bank. That's what it is.
We want to be your bank. Truly Financial, Mike Milan. We can sing "My Land is Your Land." That's how I know how to sing this. I sing it in my mind every time I think of it.
Yeah, this land is your land.
And when you ever said that to me, I was like, I'll never pronounce your last name wrong again.
There you go.
I'm thinking of Milan, which I think is a Disney movie or something, but it's Milan. So, Mike, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Again, the DM Disruption is all about shaking your coconut and getting you to think about doing things differently. And yes, period. The world is changing. You can either fight against it and get left behind, or you can join the fight and make changes in your business and with your clients. And Truly Financial is one of those components that we got to shake it, put it in your head so that you're thinking about it. And thank you again so much for listening. Mike, thanks so much for coming here today. And we will see you on the next DM Disruption. Thanks again, everybody.
Hey, thanks, Don.
You bet.